Yo, what's up everyone? So, my DAIWA MC2 Minicast-II is here. This is it comes with a, like a travel kit, a 5-piece rod, but I don't want to use the rod because chances of breaking it are probably really good. I got this in very, very good condition. So when I get vintage reels, I put them on test rods, and the test rods I tend to get are the Zebco. These are the cheapest ones you could find at Walmart. You just get those Zebco slingshots, and there's other ones that are really cheap, like the Durango and the B&M 410. But the thing is, I didn't want anything that's 4 foot 10 inches. I wanted something that is closer to 6. And this one you get a 5'6". But again, $10 for these rods. Well, it's a combo. Spin cast combo or a reel combo. I get them pretty much for that cheap, primarily for the rod itself. These are, again, marketed for people who want to fish but do it cheaply. And for me, I don't want to put this on a super expensive rod. I have ultralights, I have finesse rods, but my feeling is that I didn't want to use it. I have my own special, again, I have 60, close to 60, or probably over 60 rods and reels, and I do not need to invest in any more expensive rods and reels. I have more than enough, but I'm willing to get these cheapy ones. And yeah, here is this DAIWA. As you can see here, it has that classic DAIWA look. What's interesting is that when I ordered this, I thought it was from Japan, but I looked underneath and it's Korea. There was a time when well, you really have to look at what you buy and question the seller. But the reason why I got this is that the whole set was too great of a condition. I mean, everything that I've seen online, it's always scuffed, and this person was willing to sell it for cheap. And when I say cheap, it's like close to like 45 bucks or so, or 35 bucks. I forgot what it was, but yeah, this is way too good. So this one, you got the reel, you got the anti-reverse right here, you got the push button reel, which is really interesting because it's like this. You got the screws right here, and you got the drag lever right here. So this is really, really interesting to see that drag right here. And yeah, it's really cool to see this. But yeah, this is the Minicast-II. Hello. And yeah, this thing is really nice. So I just like looking at it. But yeah, if you want to see what other stuff that it came with, let me see if I can see right here. This one came in this little set. Put this up, yeah. So here's one thing that I thought that was really interesting about the rod itself, the original rod. So like today they're like screw-ons, right? Well, this one, you put it in and you have to tighten it through this little thing. I think people used to use their coins, not a screwdriver, but you could use a coin for that. But I thought that was very, very interesting. But I just didn't want to use it because this thing is no doubt like an ultralight, and that tip it comes with is so darn. This says made in Taiwan. Speaking of that, I'll show you the thing here. DAIWA Minicast MCG 59S. So it's a 5-foot ultra light, 2 to 4 pound. You want, and then the lures is you could use a 1/16 to 1/4. I just have a jig head with a with just a little crappie worm. This little sticker right here. How to assemble your rod. But yeah, here is the let me get to this tip real quick here. Yeah, this kind of reminds me of the Spinmatics, which easily crack, and this one I do not want to crack. So, and it came with other stuff. You can see here that it came with all these like swivels and stuff from the 70s when they were like 87 cents each. Now they're what, like $4? Just hold it right here. As you can see, really good in terms of short distance. I didn't put a weight. I could put a drop sinker, but why do that? You can hear that. But I tangled it up, but it's fine. But yeah, you just pretty much have to reel it quickly. But yeah, this is the Minicast-II. So this one was made in 1978 to 1983. Earlier versions were made in Japan, and I guess the later ones in Korea. But for the most part, you know, DAIWA has their own Minicasts, and they had the gold one, which is pretty awesome. But I really enjoy spin casts. There's some people who have a feeling when they see spin casts, oh, those are for kids. But people have to realize that there are pros who actually brought spin casts with them for tournaments. There are people who grew up on these as kids and then in adulthood. And there's one thing is that I could say that they're very dependable in terms of if you get higher quality ones. So may they be the higher quality ones of today or the vintage ones. Back then the vintage ones were all pure metal. They were not plastic. Back then they prized itself on spin casts on durability, where now it's more of making things cheap and with a quicker retrieve. I would rather have durability and would rather have all metal parts or brass parts and so forth. I just like the aluminum shell, the heaviness of it, and I could care less if it's super lightweight and made of plastic. It's just not my thing. So, but yeah, back in the day when these things were all metal. And that's why I think if you ever want to get into spin casts, definitely look at a time. Definitely look, in the 80s, from the 30s to the 80s, and you'll really find awesome vintage reels that are just, they stand the test of time. And I think if anything, this one is a classic DAIWA. DAIWA has made many, but this one, the Minicast 1 and the Minicast 2, you can't go wrong.